Constantine, after a long succession of emperors who were unable to quash and to quell the faith of the early believers, then began to mix in Babylonian, Persian, and Roman sun god worship in. He took on the worship of Easter, which was always part of his life, and he made a proclamation that all Messianic Jews, all believers, had to subscribe to. And that was, he said that you will no longer keep any of the celebrations of the Jews. He made this proclamation and made them swear to it. You will keep none of the Jewish superstitions, none of the feast of the Jews, he called them. Of course, the Bible calls them the feast of the Lord. The Jews were just supposed to keep them. They were the feast of the Lord. But Constantine stripped away everything Jewish and brought in all this pagan sun god worship. And if you did not follow Constantine in his new religion, then you were dead. Nothing changed, except he changed the name of Mithra, who was born on December 25th, changed it a little bit to Jesus, and basically what we ended up with, Babylonian sun god worship in different clothing. This is what we inherited. Now, Constantine sent his mother down to Jerusalem to pick out holy sites for his new world church-state religion that everyone was required to kowtow to. In fact, it was simple for the pagans, because instead of praying to Mars, now you can pray to Saint Martin. They changed the names a little bit to saints so that they could continue praying to their gods, but it was just changed a little bit. So it made the pagans completely happy. But what he did is took away everything Jewish, including the Jewish Messiah, and replaced it with basically a Roman pagan sun god. Now, his mother was sent down to Jerusalem, but it's not called Jerusalem anymore. For 200 years it has been Aelia Capitolina, a pagan capital in which no Jews are allowed to enter under penalty of death. The Romans have erected a temple to Aphrodite. Aphrodite is the Roman version of Easter, the goddess of fertility who is worshipped on Easter, or in Aelia Capitolina, Aphrodite Sunday. The pagans would make a pilgrimage through the streets of Aelia Capitolina and arrive at the temple of Aphrodite on Aphrodite Sunday, and it would be filled with Aphrodite lilies, where they would worship the Queen of Heaven. Constantine's mother came in. She broke down the temple of Aphrodite, and over the very foundations built the Church of the Holy Sepulcher, so that on Easter Sunday, the pagans could continue to make their pilgrimage through the streets of Jerusalem, now called the Via Dolorosa. They come to the Church of the Holy Sepulcher filled with Aphrodite lilies, and they worship the new Queen of Heaven, Mary. And to this very day, in the courtyard of the Church of the Holy Sepulcher are the broken off pillars of the temple of Aphrodite. You can stand on them to this very day. Everyone knows that they are the pillars of the temple of Aphrodite. Then Constantine's mother went over to Bethlehem, which all the believers have been run out of there the last few years, but there was a Tammuz, a temple to Tammuz over there, and the traditional Tammuz cave. She broke down the temple of Tammuz and built the Church of the Nativity over the Tammuz cave. Now, people line up to go down there and kiss the floor, which faces the sun, on the very location where child sacrifice was done on December 25th at the child mass, and infants were slaughtered on Easter Sunday, and the eggs of Easter were dyed in the blood of sacrificed infants. Come to Israel on a tour. We will show you things that you have not even imagined here in the Western world. But this is reality. And this is what Constantine's mother did. And then she went down to the Sinai Peninsula of Egypt and picked out a mountain as the latest tourist trap for the Roman religion. Now, if we dared say any of the things that I just said, if we said that 1,000 years ago, I would be dead before I left the building. In the time of Constantine, I wouldn't have made it out of here alive. I would have been hauled off before I got the first sentence out of my mouth because I dared to challenge the church-state religion.